All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, the power by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Echad. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I was searching for some topics last night, and I stumbled across some crazy stuff, man. A lot of these, when you look more, if you choose to decide to continue to follow the Epstein files, it was telling you how Bill Gates, they had this event 201 email where they basically were discussing the pandemic before it happened. They had emails going back, I think as far back as 2013. So that just goes to show you that Esau plans all this shit out well ahead of time, and he was basically saying verbatim exactly how everything happened, how they came out with the jab shot, all of that, man. So a lot of you people who thought it was conspiracy theories and all that back then, now they were true, but you still gonna fall for the okie doke because you don't believe anything, man. Okay, as a matter of fact, right there. People don't believe. I'm gonna start in the book of Matthew, the 15th chapter. Let me go there. That's what came to mind. Get right into it. Matthew 15:1. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, "Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread." But he answered and said unto them, "Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?" That's right. Why you transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? Nowhere in the law does it tell you you have to wash your hands before you eat. So that's a tradition of men. We do it. It's a cleansly things we practice, but that's not the commandments of God. But you people will wash your hands and transgress every law that's in the Bible. So what Yahushua was doing, he was exposing you for being a hypocrite, being an actor, looking like you're holy, but you're not. Okay, Matthew 15:4. For God commanded, saying, "Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die to death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me." Yeah, it is a gift. You ain't got to honor your father and your mother. You pay me off, we'll overlook that. So you rather transgress the laws to maintain some form of status here, man. That's hypocritical. "And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition." And that's what a lot of you Christians do. You make the commandment of God of none effect by your traditions. Okay, you teach people to keep the traditions of men. Follow these holidays, eat this pork, do everything that transgresses the law in order to keep the traditions of men, because your family taught you how to be like that. And you teach others how to be wicked. Because everyone goes that way. You think that's the right way to go, and it's not. It's not according to the Bible. You ain't bringing out scriptures to show people that they're transgressing the laws. "Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me." So your heart, which is your mind, is far from the Lord. You honor him with your lips. So you giving lip service, man. You ain't really serving him. It tells you in the book of 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. Okay, Samuel told King Saul, "Does the Lord like sacrifice more than obedience?" Long story, roughly paraphrasing. He requires obedience rather than sacrifice. Okay, so how do you be obedient? Hey, you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. That's how any son is obedient to the father. Your father tell you to do something and you do it to the best of your ability, he's gonna be pleased with you. But if you rebel about what he tells you to do, then he's not gonna be pleased with you. But if you give him a gift, yeah, I didn't do the dishes, but here's $3, you know, here's $20, and then, you know, go get you a 6-pack of brew, you know, like he gonna be like, who do you think I am? You know, that's sort of like what you're doing when you disobey the Lord. Okay, Matthew 15:9. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. In vain they do worship me. Okay, teaching the doctrines, the commandments of men. And what does man command you to do? To transgress the laws. Okay, that's why it tells you in Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? So why would you put your trust in another man? Okay, the best thing to do is to follow someone who's following the Lord, being an example. Matthew 15:10. And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. So the things that you say, that's what defiles you. Because you're saying what you believe. So that's coming out of your heart. You know, so that's how you know if a man's defiled or not, by the things that he says. So a lot of you who speak about Jesus, for example, we know you're defiled. Because, or you just lack the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You can't even get this water if we force you to drink it. Okay, because ultimately you've just been rejected, according to Jeremiah 6:30, showing you that you're just reprobate silver. The Lord ain't dealing with everybody out here, man. If he was dealing with everybody out here, the world wouldn't be as wicked as it is. So that's showing you is there's a great forsaking of the creature. Okay, he's only dealing with his elect. That's why they're standing up for righteousness, like the scriptures would tell you, day and night. Do they? Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah, as a matter of fact. Isaiah chapter 50. I think it's 50. No, Isaiah 62. That's what I'm thinking about. Isaiah 62, verse 1. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Okay, and that name going into a new, it's like being refreshed. Okay, it's going into you having a new identity, a new reputation, because your name goes into your reputation. You're going to be known as the elect. You're going to be known as the righteous, or whatever the Lord wants to call it. But it's ultimately him giving you that authority, giving you that reputation of the elect, like our forefathers. Okay? It says, Isaiah 62:3, thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hezvabah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. So let's look at this. Let's look at these terms. Okay, but your land shall no more be called desolate, because the heathen's going to be out of there. Okay, and you're not going to be termed forsaken, like it tells you in the book of Hosea 1:10. Because you're gonna let's grab it real quick. Hosea chapter 1 verse 10. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. So where was it said that we were not his people? Here in America. Okay. In every other captivity, we knew who we were. Well, not all of us, but you know, in the Roman times, the Jews knew who they were. They knew they were Israel. They knew about the covenants and this knowledge. But then you had the Greeks. Okay, you had those Israelites who, because of Antiochus Epiphanes and Ptolemy, the Greek captivity. When you read 1 Maccabees 1, you can start at 41 to like 50. And then you go to 2 Maccabees, the 6th chapter, and Ptolemy said it made it illegal for you to call yourself a Jew. So what were they calling themselves if it was illegal to call themselves a Jew? A Greek. They would call themselves Greeks. And that's why Paul was sent to bring them back into the fold, so to speak, or bring them back to keeping their law, statutes, and commandments. But the Jews didn't really want them because they knew who they were. So they're looking at the Gentiles, which are Israelite foreigners or Greeks, who, you know, so-called blacks, you know, wearing, you know, following the Greek customs. You know, they were looking down upon them. So they looking at themselves like they're better than their brother. And Paul had to bridge that gap. And it started with that, but it transcends into the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom too. So there was a lot of breaking up, but now all of that's coming together. And as the nation of Israel gets stronger and stronger and stronger, this world gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it gets destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Isaiah 62, I wanted to look up in Isaiah 62 and 4. Let me grab this real quick. Isaiah 62, verse 4. I want to look up these terms. It says, Hezebah, my delight is in her. Okay, so he gonna have delight in you. Okay, and then it says Bula. So he said you're gonna be called Hezebah, which is my delight is in her. And Bula, it says to marry, rule over, possess, own. So then you're gonna be married with the Lord. Isaiah 62, verse 5. No, come on up. Isaiah 62, verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. So he's talking to the nation of Israel. If you go to the book of Jeremiah, the 6th chapter, he likens the nation of Israel as a delicate and comely woman. Jeremiah 6, verse number 2. It says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So he looks at the whole nation of Israel as a comely and delicate woman. Isaiah 62, the true Israelites, those who descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Isaiah 62, verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy marry me, thee, Salakia. So shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. And it's giving me a precept for Isaiah 65, verse 19. Isaiah 65, verse 19 is saying, and I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying, because the nation of Israel is in captivity right now, scattered throughout all these different governments, being oppressed because these different nations, they don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, as you can see. That's why they are they're heathen. Isaiah 62, verse 6, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. So the Lord raises up prophets, okay, and they go out, they watch, and they see the news, they see what's going on in the world, and what they're doing is they're like watchmen. You sit on a tower, you see the enemy coming, and you warn Jerusalem, because the towers were made in Jerusalem so you can warn the people, and that's what the prophets are doing today. Except they're watching the news, they're seeing what's going on in the world, and they're matching it up through the scriptures to show you how long we got down here before this place be destroyed. Isaiah 65 in verse number 7. And give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. When you look at Jerusalem, you don't think you want to praise that shit that's going on over there. You see Palestinian kids getting shot with sniper rifles and shit. There's nothing to praise about Jerusalem, because they're not the real, they're Esau, they're Edomites. Okay, so they're not gonna establish righteousness in the world. The true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are gonna establish righteousness in the world. When you read Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, it says they shall learn war no more. So Esau's not over there teaching you learning war anymore. He's putting people to death. So he's not fulfilling prophecy. So if you know fulfill prophecy, then that shows that you're not, this book's not talking about you. Okay, and where's his watchmen? Why aren't they on the highways and hedges doing what I'm doing? All right, cussing this world out for all the wickedness that's doing against the Lord's word. Isaiah 62, verse 8. The Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, have sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies, and the sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine. for the which thou hast labored. That's right. So when somebody's drinking your wine, you're laboring the vineyard and they're drinking the wine. You're doing all the work, they're reaping the benefits. That's happening to the nation of Israel. Okay, just like back then when you had to, before the old world ended, we had to labor. Noah he was laboring that whole time, and what happened? He got delivered, him and his family, but the rest of the world got destroyed. Okay, Isaiah 62 verse 9, but they have gathered it shall eat it and praise the Lord, and they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. So they're gonna be able to reap what they sow, but right now they can't because according to Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, the nations are scattered throughout all the different nations, suffering the curses. Okay, for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we're not in our land, and that's why the Lord allowed these heathen to rule over us. Okay, so we're supposed to be, even though it's a wicked world, we still got to keep our law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability to the Lord deliver us. Isaiah 62 verse 10, go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, cast up the highway, gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. So we're lifting up a standard. Okay, and the standard is the Bible. Okay, we're the ones who are going through Jerusalem, telling you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and you speckled birds out there who believe, because it's not about your skin color. There's white Israelites, there's Chinese-looking Israelites, but they don't know they're Israel because Isaiah 25. But one good sign is that they hate wickedness, so they would be oppressed in this world because they see what's going on in the news, and they're like, what the fuck? I was watching a whole skinhead talk about just his anger alone showed me that might be Israel, because Esau, he's cool with some of this shit. That's why you see people online, they're cool with Jeffrey Epstein and shit. They think they're trying to switch the image to make it cool. But then this skinhead, he was saying how much he hates this shit. Of course he hates this shit, but he ain't just saying it once and then moving around. He's consistently. He feels that way, okay? And that's righteousness in all actuality, even though, he don't know who he is, so you can't really blame him. But he got to hear this word too, Isaiah chapter 25. Isaiah 25. Esau's getting hurt. Oh yeah, he's getting hurt. Isaiah 25 verse 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. So that veil is not knowing your biblical identity. Everyone's calling themselves something outside of this Bible. So there's a gross darkness to the people. They don't know who they are. Just like a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You people are so dumb, you call yourselves white, black. That's childish, man. These people don't even know what the color black look like, what the color white look like, and you learning from these people. And these people are demons, man. They transgress the laws. You're not supposed to listen to people like that. See, our wisdom is this knowledge right here in this Bible. The heathen, they don't know about the Lord. They trust in their science. They trust in their degrees and all that stupid shit. But the Lord's going to manifest that all that shit is foolishness. When you read 1 Corinthians, the first chapter, he says the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. So you need to learn about the Lord. Ecclesiasticus tells you that, a small understanding with the Lord and having that fear of the Lord is greater than having that wisdom, okay? And these people don't have a fear of the Lord. That's why you see iniquity abounding, okay? People transgressing the laws. They don't know this is going to lead to their destruction, okay? But that face of the covering cast over all people is you not knowing what your biblical identity is, okay? Isaiah 25, verse 8, he will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord Yahweh power will wipe away tears from off all faces. In the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for the Lord have spoken it. So that rebuke, which is the curses in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, who's going through that? Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. One of them is, one of the curses is you being when you break the laws, the Lord will have a nation rule over you, and they'll disrespect the living shit out of you. Calling you a Native American, that's your enemy told you that. Calling you black, your enemy told you that. Selling you into slavery, your enemy does that to you. Okay, so what happens is the Lord takes away your wisdom away from you, and that's where you get the spiritual death. Okay, when you don't know who you are, when you walking through the world not knowing who you are, you're basically like a dead person, according to Proverbs 21 and 16. Let's grab that too. Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21 Verse 16, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So if you don't want to accept this truth, a lot of y'all are going to die anyways. It tells you in the book of Zechariah, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you're gonna get put to death, man. And that's prophecy. You're not gonna come back. You're gonna continue. You're gonna join on the Black Panthers and get put to death. You're gonna join some stupid ass protests. The Lord don't want you protesting and doing all that shit, man. This is him allowing the different nations to go fight up for something that don't even matter. Zechariah chapter 13. They're not standing up for righteousness. Why aren't they coming out on the highways and hedges asking the Lord to set up a profitable government? They're not asking for that. They want a little bit of, as long as they're happy. When they're being afflicted, that's when they want shit to change. When you're being afflicted, they're okay with that. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So the third, 2/3 is 66.6 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and you speckled birds out there that are gonna get put to death. And I will bring the third part through the fire, the third part, which is 33.3%, the rest of you, which are the elect of Israel, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh is my God. So they're gonna know the name of the Lord. They're gonna understand that Jesus, the letter J, was created in 1524 by Giorgio Trissino. Okay, so they're gonna understand this is a Hebrew man that we're talking about. The whole image of the Lord that they have today is backwards. They give you a white image of God, which doesn't match up with Revelation, the 1st chapter. Let's grab that over here. So it shows you how profane this place is. The whole world thinks the Lord is black, white, and that's for truth's sake, let me read it. Revelation chapter 1, verse number 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, so I got woolly hair, okay? This is wool. The Lord had woolly hair, right? And it was white, like the white in my beard, that's what his hair looked like. As white as snow, not brown, not blonde, okay? White. They don't see an image of so-called Jesus Christ with white woolly hair. Woolly hair, wool is on sheep, okay? And his eyes were as a flame of fire. So fire is red, not blue. So where are they getting this description? It's all false. It's actually a picture of Cesare Borgia. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in the furnace. So your feet are the same color as the rest of your body. Okay, so what image are they depicting? It's a lie. Okay, it tells you in the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, that this devil was going to be loose. And what did he do when he was loose? He set up what you call here in America, okay, which is Rome 2.0. And what did he do to the Lord in ancient Rome? The Lord died by those Roman centurions. Okay, it tells you in Revelation 1:7 that he gonna destroy their ass. Revelation 1 verse 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. So he's gonna come with the clouds, which are the chariots of the Lord, and he's gonna destroy the heathen. Okay, and those who pierced him. So the people that pierced him over 2,000 years ago. So is that saying there's a 2,000-year-old man who murdered the Lord? No, it's all through the reincarnation. But we're all back in the reincarnation. Okay, just like he was talking about Elijah, and he told you that John the Baptist was Elijah. Okay, he didn't just say that because it sounded good to him. He was telling you that that's who he was. Okay, fulfilling prophecy. So this place is backwards. That's what I'm trying to say. And his voice as the sound of many waters. So they don't bring these scriptures out and you don't have any understanding. That's why it's important that the Lord woke us up and brought us back to this. Let me grab this and finish Isaiah 62 real quick. All right, my man, you have a good day. Isaiah 62 in verse number 9. But they that have gathered it shall eat it and praise the Lord, and they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. I read that. Jump down, Isaiah 62:11. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. So that salvation is cometh. So that's talking about our Lord Yahweh Shai. That's our salvation. And they shall call them the holy people the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called sought out, a city not forsaken. So just like now, be called out, man. Okay, as a matter of fact, where is that? Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So there's actually going to be a voice calling you out of this world, which is going to call you up into the chariots. Okay, uttered in Hebrew. Okay, and that's at the end when we get delivered and the thermonuclear destruction destroys this place. All right. Where else am I going? Isaiah 60. That's pretty much it on that. I wanted to finish Matthew the 15th chapter real quick. I got to get back over there. Esau and Moab wanted to hear the word and then left. Hey, it's all, hey, do what you got to do, my man. At least he ain't scoffed. Matthew chapter 15 in verse number 12. Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father have not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. So that's pretty much the point, is what I wanted to bring out. The blind lead the blind, and both shall fall into a ditch. Okay, the people that you follow, and they still using the same name, Jesus Christ, you know. And I don't know how many times people got to tell you that that's not the name, you know. But, you know, Zechariah 13 is going to be fulfilled. Okay, 2/3 of you going to die, man. And it's because of the rejection of the Lord. You reject the Lord every single day, man. Every single day. Okay? By you not coming back into this truth, by you not coming back to your nationality, by you scoffing on you know, against the men of the Lord, you got to pay for that. Okay? Matthew 15 and 16, I'll keep going. And ye also yet without understanding, do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast into the drought? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile the man. So there you go. You know, you eat food, you shit it out. That's not what defiles you. Even if you eat pork, yeah, you defiled, but what really keeps you defiled is what comes out of your heart, because you truly believe, like, you believe in what you're saying, and you walk in that path. You can stop, with, you know, after you eat pork, you shit it out and get, you know, you cleanse yourself and don't eat it anymore. You'll be considered clean for that reason, but you'll still be defiled if you believe that you can eat pork. That's the problem. The fact that you actually believe you can eat that. That's what makes you continue to eat that shit. Okay? It's the thought. Okay? More so than the actual action is. If you think it, then you pretty much, you know, it's the mindset is what he's trying to focus on, man. That needs to be corrected. Then you'll stop eating the shit if you really have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? That, just as an example. Matthew 15, verse 19, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. Then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Zidon, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David, my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Now the dogs represent heathens. This woman is a woman, she's an Israelite woman. You know, a lot of people will, you know, different groups have different breakdowns. And you know what, when you listen to them, you're gonna be like, yeah, that makes sense. Well, what's the difference between this person and that person, you know? But then you got to really analyze, man. What else do they teach? They don't teach the MOTB. They saying Most High Christ bless. So, you know, it shows you that they probably don't have the truth. When just using discernment alone shows you that, yeah, these people, they ain't got it, man. They ain't got it. Somebody got the truth. Somebody got it, and it ain't them, man. You playing with the Lord's name, man. Why would I listen to anything else you have to say? A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump. So she's an Israel. I believe she's an Israelite woman too. Okay, but she was acting like one of the other nations. You don't have to be. When you read Matthew the 18th chapter, I believe. Let me go there real quick. Matthew 18 and verse number. Let me see. Matthew 18, I'll start at 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. So if your brother give you a fault, you know, whatever he does, man, you feel offended, he does something to you, you know, go talk to him and try to iron it out with just you and him. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established. So then you involve other people into it. Okay, so there's an order to do it. Try to deal with him first. If that doesn't work, you try to bring 2 or 3 witnesses. You let other people know about what's going on. Okay? And then, you know, so now you have 2 or 3 witnesses. Because it says that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established. So now you have more of a defense. You know, you're not bringing up any false reports. You know, you try to talk to him directly. It's not working. You bring it within the brotherhood, not telling some other people that ain't in the truth, because your brother are those who do the work. Okay, so then you try to negotiate with them, and then so they can see what's going on. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. So if he neglects to hear those other 2 or 3 witnesses, you know, trying to establish it, then you might want to go higher up the channel. You know, that's for you people that are like in groups and things like that. But some brothers ain't in a group. Okay, so if you're not in a group, I suggest you separate yourself, man. That's the best way to do it. Nobody should be disrespecting you, especially at the age that you're at. Most of the time, you gotta have spiritual discernment. Okay, you can't have the spirit will tell you all things, man. Okay, if somebody's disrespecting you, hey, some people need to be cut off, man. It's really not that hard. You know, you're gonna tell you, please don't do this and do it. Like, no, if he's doing that because it's deep down, he don't like you, and he don't have to like you. But you ain't supposed to hate your brother in your heart, man. You try to do according to the scriptures to the best of your ability. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. So let him be as a heathen man and a publican. Publican's a tax collector. You know, people don't like tax collectors, man. So you try to avoid them to the best you can, even though you got to pay your taxes. You know, he's not saying don't pay your taxes, man. That's how people treat publicans. You know, just like people, you know, when your taxes are due in April, people wait till the last minute to give the taxes. You ain't rushing to go pay your taxes, man. A lot of people, most people are not. But treating him as a heathen man doesn't make him a heathen. He's just, that's how you treat him. It is what it is. And it says, Matthew 18, verse 18, verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. That's pretty much it on that. So I bring that to say that Israelites can be called heathen too. So that's just because she says it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs, doesn't necessarily mean that she's a heathen. Okay, when you have the full scope of the scriptures, then you would understand that, okay, Israel can be called heathen too. But that's what a dog is a heathen. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. So she healed her daughter. He told her he's not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay, so that goes to show you that they're Israelites. And Yahushua departed from thence and came nigh unto the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down there. And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, many others, and cast them down at Yahushua's feet, and he healed them. And so much that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to behold, the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the God of Israel. And that's what people are doing. That's what we're doing now. You know, giving this truth out through the Spirit. The blind, we're allowing them to see. The lame, we're allowing them to walk. When you hear this word, it heals you. Okay, you get to know who you are. Some of us go get the teaching. We get the preaching when the word enters into us. Okay, the maimed and many others, and cast them down at Yahushua's feet, and he healed them, in so much that the multitude wondered. I just read that. Matthew 15, verse 32, then Yahushua called his disciples unto him and said, I have compassion on the multitude, because they continue with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat, and I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. And his disciples say unto him, whence should we have so much bread in the wilderness as to fill so great a multitude? And Yahushua saith unto them, how many loaves have ye? And they said 7, and a few little fishes. So he didn't even have enough food to feed the whole multitude. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes, and gave thanks, and brake them, and gave to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat, and were filled, and they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets full. So he multiplied the bread and the fish. And they that did eat were 4,000 men, beside women and children. And he sent away the multitude, and took ship, and gave into the coast of Magdala. So there you go. That's the power of the Lord, man. Feeding the multitudes. And we feeding the multitudes through these sacrifices. Okay, with the bread and the fish. Okay, because this is what's going to sustain you at the end of the day. All that other shit ain't going to sustain you. Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Yahushua led up to the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward a hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the heavenly Father. So that's how you eat. Okay, you shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the heavenly Father. Let me grab this. Let me see if I have anything else in this news situation. Nancy Guthrie, live updates. Man detained for questioning is released. Who cares? All flights at El Paso Airport in Texas halted for 10 days for security reasons. Okay, Tumbler Ridge mass shooting. What we know so far. What's this? Tumbler Ridge mass shooting. I've been hearing there was a mass shooting in Canada too. Oh, this is it. Yep, Tumbler Ridge. I didn't even read that. I saw that yesterday. Canadian police say 9 people have been killed in a mass shooting at a school, in a home, in the remote rural community of Tumbler Ridge in the western province of British Columbia. So there you go. I mean, I ain't really got to read it all, man. That's the Lord working. All over the world. Constant judgments going out, man. And you can be on that list, man. The Lord's hit list. Okay. Let me grab this in the book of Psalms, chapter 7 and 11. It says, where are you? Psalm 7 and 11. It says, nope. It's not 7 and 11. Where is it, man? Yeah, it is Psalm 7 and 11. It says, God judges the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. So he's angry. He judges the righteous, and he's angry with the wicked every day, man. All right. Psalms 9, verse 16. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgaion Salah. So he's known by the judgments that he executed. The wicked is snared in the works of his own hands. Higgaion Salah. So they, yeah, it's the wicked, man. They're snared in their own. They snare themselves into being destroyed. I'm thinking about Zephaniah 3. Yeah, Zephaniah. Where you at? Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So every morning does he bring his judgment to light. So he's bringing mass shootings, kidnappings, unsolved murders. Like, this Lord's doing all these things, man. If you don't want anything to do with this, repent. It's very simple. And may the Lord have mercy on you. Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all of these things. So he does it all. He's always working. And he's working right now. He's probably putting somebody to death right now. Deuteronomy 32 and 4. He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. So he's just and right. He's not doing any iniquity when he's putting these people to death, meaning they deserved it. Let me grab this in the book of Job, chapter 4, verse number 7. It says, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Yeah, whoever perished being innocent. Where were the righteous cut off? This is the questions you got to ask yourself, man. Nobody perishes being innocent. We're here to serve our judgments. Okay, whatever form it comes, hey, we got to take it. That's what you're here to get. That's why they elect us. They understand these scriptures and they're seeking mercy from the judge. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So you can't get away from the judgments of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. You can't be delivered. Okay. He kills and he makes alive, he just said. Psalms chapter 68, verse 20. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belongeth the issues from death. So that's what belongs to issues from death. So he has power over life and death. Let me grab this in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14. Just like he told Job in Job, the 2nd chapter. He told Job, save his life. Now he told Satan to save his life. So Satan don't got power over life and death. 2nd Esdras chapter 14. And I'm gonna start verse 50. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. Nope, let me jump down. I'll start at 53. 2nd Esdras 4. Oh, is this 14? No, that's 15. That's 15. 2nd Esdras 14. Actually, let me jump to 6. So like here. 2nd Esdras 6. In verse number 50. And did it separate one from the other for the 7th part? namely where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest one part which was dried up the third day, that he should dwell in the same part wherein are 1,000 hills. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Jump down. 2nd Ezra 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made us the world for our sakes. As for the other people which are also come of Adam, which has said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. That's not what I'm looking for, but that's how the Lord thinks about these other heathen nations. Okay. I'm looking for 2nd Ezra 14. I think it is in 14. In verse number... I can't barely think of the precept. I forgot what I was even looking for. But it pretty much says, whoever thought after death that you would continue to suffer after death. And I can't remember what that precept is. 2nd Ezra 14 and 35. For after death, there it is, shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, is the point. So when you die, yeah, you get brought up to the Father, but then you get judgment. And then you got to come back down and play that out for something you did in your past life. Okay? Even though you died in that previous life for something you did in the previous life. Okay? So this is the place of judgment, is what I'm trying to say. So we got to be on our best behavior if we were seeking a pardon, especially when he got his judgments going out as abundantly as he has it. Okay. So, you know, these school shootings, they can get worse than that. Car accidents, 50 car piles, you know, from the weather and things like that, different weather. Lord's terrible, man. Canadian police say 9 people have been killed in a mass shooting at a school and a home in a remote rural. I just read that. Another 25 people were injured, and the suspect's body was also found at the scene. This is what we know so far about the deadliest gun attacks in Canada's history. Damn. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said they received a report of an active shooter on Tumbler Ridge Secondary School at 13:20 local time on Tuesday. The police responded by deploying officers to the scene and issuing an active shooter alert for the rural community and the surrounding area. Shelter in place, lock your doors, and refrain from leaving your home or business at this time, local residents were told. A hold and secure lockdown was activated at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School and nearby Tumbler Ridge Elementary School. British Columbia's minister, so what happened, man? Tumbler Ridge has about 24,000 students, residents, and its secondary school has 160 students in grades 7 through 12. Crazy, man, little kids. In an update, the RCMP said that 6 additional individuals, not included the suspect, have been located deceased inside the school. 2 victims have been airlifted to hospitals with serious or life-threatening injuries. A 3rd victim died while being transported to a hospital. An RCMP statement said approximately 25 others are being assessed and triaged at the local medical center for non-threatening injuries. Amen. Judgment. D.C. grand jury declines to indict 6 Democratic lawmakers. What's that all about, man? I'll read that later. Pam Bondi to face questions from House lawmakers about her DOJ leadership. Hey, just fire her, man. Just fire her. Pam Bondi just always lying about bullshit, man. We don't need to hear we don't hear nothing she has to say anymore. But you people, you don't even care that she's been constantly lying. Lutnick, just everyone in your that the duck set up pretty much is on the Epstein file. okay? And you people voted for that type of shit. So, hey, you people deserve everything that comes with that. Everything. Hope he continues to rob you. I hope he, actually, not a Jew's here. He came here yesterday. So, ahead of the duck going to discuss some type of peace deal with the Iranians. So, not a Jew showed up here. So you're probably gonna tell him, nah, he don't want no peace over there. I don't care if he's diluting his nukes. You know, he already told the duck, I'll do it myself. So he's probably trying to tell him, yeah, I told him that the red line is the ballistic missiles, but tell him if they even breathe air too much, we'll go over there and fight them. So if we're coming to that point, you're gonna probably hear about airstrikes in Iran any day now. Any day now. JLP revolt sinks effort to block votes on Duck's tariffs. Who gives a fuck about all of this shit? Everybody should be held accountable for it. There's no accountability. Okay, this isn't a well-ordered government. There shouldn't be any other discussion. Shouldn't be any other litigation that he should be writing if all these things are true. That needs to be established first. But nope. You don't see anybody in the uproar about these things because they're wicked. They like pedophiles and homosexuals running their government. So that's what you get. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. So it's not a well-ordered government. Okay, as the ruler is, so are the people. Your ruler is on Epstein's list, shit like that, so you're cool with that. So when he starts passing laws that allow you to sleep with 14-year-old girls and shit like that, with consent, and then he gonna keep lowering that number. You know, if the Lord allows this devil to continue, he'll just lower it to there is no rule. You know what? They'll make the Talmud the law of the land. So then when you come out the womb, the doctor just bite your meat right off your meat stick, man. That extra meat on your meat, he just bite it off for you. Oh no, that's how you're supposed to do it. Okay. So that already goes to show you, man, this place is through, man. Okay? In the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. So the person of the scribe are those who meditate on the law. He's going to lay his honor on those who are the persons of the scribes. The scribes understand the law. I think there's a precept in Ezra, the 6th chapter. Let me grab that real quick. Ezra chapter 6. Ezra was a scribe too, you know. If you meditate on the law, you're looking up words and things like that. That's scholarly. That's what you're supposed to do. You see brothers doing that, that's someone that knows how to swing the sword, man. Ezra, where are you, man? Where are you, Ezra? My hand's too cold. Ezra chapter 6. I think it's 6. That's what's coming into my mind. Ezra 6. I don't know where though. This is a long chapter. Let me grab it out of my phone. I can't find it. Let me grab it out of my phone. Ezra. As a matter of fact, let me just type in scribe. Scribe. Ezra, where are you? Oh, it's Ezra 7 and 6. It says, this Ezra went up from Babylon, and he was a ready scribe in the law of Moses, which the Lord God of Israel had given. And the king granted him all his requests according to the hand of the Lord Yahweh his God upon him. That's right. So he gave him all of his requests, a heathen king, showing you that when a man's ways please the Lord, let me grab that. When a man's ways please the Lord, Proverbs 16, verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So Ezra was able to, him and Nehemiah, get that temple built, man. Okay? Because they pleased the Lord, man. So we need that type of mercy and grace from the Lord. Let me grab this in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8. We can go through a couple more precepts. Got a little bit of time. Nehemiah 8. So you know, we want to meditate on these things, man. Get these scriptures in us. Make sure it's on us. I mean, in us, not on us. Because it doesn't matter about how many precepts you know. It's the mindset that's more important. Being focused on the Lord, man. Because when shit get tough, man, it's gonna be hard to focus on the Lord, man. But when you had a full, constant attempt to keep your eyes single, it's gonna do better for you than a lot of other people. There's so many distractions in the world. Nehemiah 8. And what time is it? Nehemiah 8. Where's the precept at? I'll start at the top. Nehemiah 8 is somewhere in here. And 1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate, and they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding, upon the first day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning unto midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose, and beside him stood Mattithiah, and Shema, and Ananiah, and Urijah, and Hilkiah, and Maaseiah on his right hand, and on his left hand Pedadiah, and Mishael, and Malchiah, and Hashum, and Hashadana, and Zechariah, and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. So just like brothers be doing on the highways and hedges, sounds like what One West did back in the day. They had this, they used to stand up on a pulpit and they'd be yelling out to the crowd. That's what Ezra was doing. Okay? Now they do it, you know, they don't, I mean, I don't know if, I don't really see, ISUPK kind of still keeps that standard. They be up on the pulpit, they be out loud, man. That's biblical, man. I'm reading it right here. Nehemiah 8, verse 6. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. So there you go. He was bringing it out, and they were worshiping the Lord. And he had his, it was like a group, you know, like a camp. Or it was a camp, you know, bringing out that word. At the gate, at the water gate, it says, in the midst of all the people. You know, it tells you in the book of, I think it's the book of Luke. It tells you to go to the marketplace, to the Gora. What's that precept? Where it says, we have piped unto you. We have piped unto you. Matthew 11 and 17. And saying, we have piped unto you, or it should have started at 16, as a matter of fact. Read full chapter. Matthew 11, verse 16. It says, but whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows. That's what we're doing. We sit. This ain't a market. I'm on the side of a road next to a beach. But you know, the markets goes into the Gora, which is the marketplace. You know, the Gora is a Greek marketplace, and that's where that's where you're supposed to be at. Okay. There, or you know, you go to highways and hedges. Same thing. And it says, Matthew 11, verse 17, and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. So, you know, we're singing this word, and none of y'all are dancing to the tune of the song. Nehemiah 8, verse 7, also Jeshua and Bani and Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shabbathai, Hodijah, Maasaiah, Kalida, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Pelaiah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. So, you know, breaking down these scriptures, causing the people to understand the law. You know, then it was the Levites' job to be well versed in the law, constantly be in the law, so they can teach the people. That's why you would go to the Levites when it came to the law. But now that veil been rendered, and we're a nation of kings and priests, so you're supposed to be knowing this law too. It tells you in Deuteronomy, the 17th chapter, that you're supposed to make a copy. You know, if you're a king, well, we're kings and priests. So we got a copy right here, Deuteronomy 17, in verse 18. And it shall be when he sitteth upon the, let me see. Come on, where is it? He basically says you got to keep a copy of this. I don't know. I can't find my precepts today. It says, Deuteronomy 17 and 18. It says, and it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. So that's what a king's supposed to do when he's ruling over your people. You got to have a copy of this law, man. And this is what we're sharing with our people, man. All right. Nehemiah 8 and 8. So they read in the book in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. So that's what we're doing. We're causing you to understand the reading. Okay, going into these different prophecies, you know, these different books, so we can teach our people. And Nehemiah, which is the Tirshatha, and Ezra the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. So that's what we're supposed to be doing, man. You should convert. You should be, sorrowful. Going back to Matthew the 11th chapter, we have piped unto you, but you have not lamented. So this is a form of that piping and lamentation to the nation of Israel. Okay. Nehemiah 8 verse 13, and on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law. And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. So going back to our festivals, our feast days, our holy days. And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount and fetch olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of thick trees to make booths, as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone upon the roof of his house and in their courts, and in courts of the house of God, and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths, for since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun, or Joshua, it says Jeshua, but it's Joshua, until the day that day had not the children of Israel done so. Yeah, until that day have not the children of Israel done so. So they had to bring the law out to keep the laws, to practice the holy days, practicing the righteous acts all over again. Okay. And there was very great gladness. Also, day by day, from the first day unto the last day, he read in the book of the law of God, and they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according unto the manner. So Ezra was going, pretty much getting us back right with the Lord, man. Okay? But not everyone's going to come back to it, and it's all right. You're going to be righteous in the kingdom if you're Israel. But, like I said, man, 2/3, y'all ain't going to get it, man. It is what it is. Well, kids, that's prophecy that has to be fulfilled. Let me finish this in 2nd Esdras 14. There's some more meat in there I wanted to grab. I'm gonna end it on there. I don't know if it's me, but it's supposed to be. Everyone's freezing, man. This is a beautiful day. I don't understand it. They can't stand the cold or something, man. It builds up your immune system. High from the cold, you're gonna be sick when the weather's good. You're gonna be sick. 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, and I'll start at 38. Okay. It says, and the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Ezra, open thy mouth and drink that I give thee to drink. Then opened I my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took it and drank it, and when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory, and my mouth was open and shut no more. The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in the day, and I held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. And it shall come to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and a stream of knowledge. And I did so. So that's why we do what we do, man. You know, but this word's not for everybody, going back into that. But some of this is for the elect, ultimately. Here, Lord's will, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Kodash. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwame Yasharala.